Most of the time when the state of New Mexico takes custody of a child, the goal is eventually to return them to their family. While that's ideal, it's important to note our state leads the nation in repeat child abuse. Tonight we're taking a look at how another New Mexican child fell through the cracks. As 4 investigator Brittany Costello found out, when reunification doesn't work, the consequences can be heartbreaking.
For Angel Garcia, foster parenting was a calling, a way he could help, turn pain into hope.
I've had close to, I would say, about 80 kids in my home, in and out of my home.
Do you want to see a successful family move on?
You know, you definitely do.
But he believes the push to make a foster child's biological family work comes at a cost paid by children, like Michael Olivas.
In a way, now I feel like I let him down.
Who else do you think let him down?
I don't think anybody else let him down. I think they killed him. I think the state killed him.
Michael Olivas spent 5 years in the system with 2 foster families. Garcia says twice CYFD tried to reunify him with his biological family. The exact reasons are kept secret by law, but Garcia says those attempts failed. We know as recent as December 2019, Michael's mother was charged with child abuse.
He told me to fight for him.
Angel was so concerned, he went to CYFD, warning against trying it again. Despite that, the 3rd attempt would be the last. Michael's father was granted custody. The reunification plan included no contact with Michael's mother.
Was there any drug use in the house?
No.
No, the mother is doing drugs. He went with her for a few days because I told him you can't smoke marijuana in my house. You have to go to school. Be well for your brothers, for you.
Court records show Michael's mother was still using drugs. She tested positive for fentanyl before Michael's death.
One day he got angry and he went with his mother for a month and a half.
Jorge Olivas filed a police report and called CYFD for help.
They are not supposed to be with the mother because she's on drugs. I spoke to CYFD, the sheriff, and they told me he's already 14 years old and can make his own decisions.
6 months later, Michael Olivas died from a fentanyl overdose.
The idea that that there is nothing anyone can do is not accurate, and it harms children.
Allison Endicott Quinones represents children going through the foster care system. She was not involved in Michael's case.
Reunification has always been valued. What I have noticed is the real shift we're seeing is lowering the expectations.
To keep kids from languishing in the foster system, New Mexico sets a goal of 1 year after taking custody to have a reunification plan or try something else. But there are no consequences for missing those timelines. As in Michael's case, that 1 year can go on and on.
The longer and longer it goes, the more harm it does. And then, but on the flip side of it, then the argument you hear is this is why they should be reunified sooner, rather than let's make sure that we follow, we set some timelines. Let's set those limits on how long we're going to have these kids ride that roller coaster.
I think what's in the best interest of a child is a family that invests in them, that loves them, that will provide constant care for them. And it doesn't matter if they're biologically related to that child or not.
For more than 2 decades, Harvard's Charles Nelson has studied the trauma of the foster system roller coaster.
The authorities need to take a close look at the family and look at the scientific literature and figure out how likely is it we're going to get this family back in shape to take this child back in. And here's the issue. When substances are involved, it's very difficult to get a family back in a place where they can accept a child.
We wanted to learn more about how CYFD makes those permanency determinations. We discovered that the people making those recommendations do not have to be licensed social workers. And just this year, the state actually lowered the bar on minimum qualifications. The agency would not show us the research they use and wouldn't talk to us on camera. Jorge Olivas says he was glad to have his son back, but knew Michael was struggling in the months leading up to his death.
Actually, when your children are like this, you want to do many things to get them out of trouble. But you know that they are teenagers, and there's a risk that they will take the wrong path.
But that's not good enough for Angel Garcia. He showed us this handwritten note from Michael. It says, "I wish to be adopted and feel safe with Angel."
Everything was brushed under the rug. Nothing, nobody cared anything.
CYFD says it is investigating Michael's death. Garcia is done with the system that he says let Michael die. He gave up his foster license. Brittany Costello, 4 Investigates.
It's important to note CYFD does make recommendations. Ultimately, it's up to a judge to determine how these highly complex cases play out. We wanted to talk to a children's court judge here in Bernalillo County about that process, but never happened.